new video of impulse turbine. So in this class we will discuss about definitions of heads and efficiencies. So here we are discussing about the various heads, that means various terms of heads used in the calculation or designing of a Pelton wheel. So in this figure it is shown that there is a dam and a turbine is provided. So the level of water at the dam side is represented as head rise, and the level of water at the turbine side is represented as tail rise. So a lot of terms are defined here. The penstock. Penstock is the pipe that carries water from the dam to the turbine. The penstock is a pipe that carries water from the dam to the turbine. So in this figure, there is a term known as HG. HG means gross head, and H is the net head, and HF is the head loss to friction. So HF is the head loss due to friction. So the gross head is the level difference between the head raise and the tail raise. So gross head is the level difference between head raise and tail raise. So after deducting the value, that is while passing through the tube or penstock, there will be some loss due to friction. So that loss is taken as head loss due to friction. So after deducting head loss due to friction from the gross head, we will get net head. So that is the principle here. Okay. So gross head is the difference between the water level at the reservoir and the water level at the tail rise. So water level at the reservoir means the water level in the dam. So it is known as the difference between the water level at the reservoir and the water level at the tail rise is known as gross head. So water level at the reservoir is normally known as head rise. It is normally known as head rise. Okay. So next, net or effective head. So net head is denoted by H. So it is the head available at the inlet of the turbine. So the head which is available at the inlet of the turbine for producing the power, it is known as uh, effective head or net head. So the net head is obtained from um, uh, deducting the value of HF from the gross head gives net head. So one small head is also given here, which is H. If it is given in the problem, then you can take that value also. If it is not given, you can take the value of HF only. So HF value will be 4FLV square by 2GD. This is the equation for head loss due to friction when water is passing through a pipe. So H is taken, small h, another h is also here, that is height of the nozzle above the tail raise. So we are deducting that value also, a small h value is also there. So deducting this value and this value, in some problems this small h is not given. So if it is not given, then you can directly take net head as Hg minus Hf. If it is given, then you can take Hg minus Hf minus H. Okay, that's all about the head. Now we will look into the efficiencies. So we have different efficiencies like hydraulic efficiency, volumetric efficiency, overall efficiency, and mechanical efficiency. So first of all, let us look into the details of the hydraulic efficiency. So we know that efficiency is output divided by input. So here output is the, for hydraulic efficiency, the output is the power developed by the runner. So it is a ratio of power developed by the runner to the power supplied by the jet at the entrance of the turbine. So the power developed by the runner. So we are supplying water here. So the output is the power developed by the runner power, divided by input is the power supplied at the inlet of the turbine. So power supplied at the inlet of the turbine means the power supplied by the water to the turbine. So actual amount of water striking the vanes. So we need to take the actual amount of water striking the vane. So power developed by the runner. So we have already derived the equation for power developed by the runner, that is rho into qa. So a into v is qa is equal to a into v. So here v is v1, so rho into a v1, rho into a into v1. So this a into v1 is actual amount of water striking the runner into vw1 plus or minus vw2 into u divided by the power supplied at the inlet of the turbine. Power supplied at the inlet of the turbine is the power supplied by the jet of water. So W is the weight density of water, QA is the actual discharge of water striking the plate, and H is the head available at the inlet of the turbine. H is the net head. So uh, raw density can be written as W by G into QA into VW1 plus or minus VW2 into U divided by W into QA into H. So some terms will be cancelled out. So this term will be cancelled out. This term will be cancelled out. So the final equation becomes VW1 plus or minus VW2 divided by GH into U. So here it is given as HR divided by H. So HR is known as HR is equal to runner head. So another term is there, HR, runner head or oiler head. It is known as oiler head. So how will you take HR? The value of HR will be H into R will be H suffix R, not H into R. So VW1 plus or minus VW2 into U divided by G gives HR, that is runner head. So the hydraulic efficiency can be taken as the ratio of runner head to the net head. So the parameter HR is equal to 1 by G into VW1 plus or minus VW2 into U, represents the energy transfer per unit weight of water and is referred as runner head. So runner head or oiler head. So the difference between the net head and runner head is known as hydraulic losses within the turbine. So that will be the loss within the turbine. So the H is the head available at the turbine, at the inlet of the turbine, and HR is the head utilized by the turbine for its rotation. Okay. So next efficiency is mechanical efficiency. So mechanical efficiency usually obtained from the shaft of a machine. So it is defined as the power ratio of power obtained from the shaft, ratio of power obtained from the shaft of the turbine to the power developed by the runner. So the runner power is the input power and the power obtained at the shaft is the output. So shaft power divided by bucket power. So P divided by W into QA into VW1 plus VW2 divided by G into U. So we know that this much term is known as HR, that is runner head. So it is taken as P divided by WQA into HR. So QA is the actual amount of water, actual amount of amount of water striking the plate, striking the bucket, striking the buckets. So next term is volumetric efficiency. So the volumetric efficiency is defined as the ratio of volume of water actually striking the runner and the volume of water supplied by the jet to the turbine. So the output is the volume of water actually striking the turbine. So this volume of water is responsible for the production of power and total water supplied. So the total water supplied means the water that which is issuing from the jet. So water issuing from the jet and the actual amount of water striking the plate. So ratio of actual volume of water striking the plate to the total water supplied by the jet to the turbine. So it is total water supplied from by the jet means the actual amount of water issuing from the nozzle, which is represented as Q, and actual amount of water striking the veins is represented as QA. So its ratio is volumetric efficiency. Next, overall efficiency. So overall efficiency is defined as, so the final output is obtained from the shaft. So that is the output power. So shaft power is the output power and the input is the water power is the input. So it is a ratio of power available at the turbine shaft to the power supplied by the water jet. So P by WQH gives the overall efficiency overall. So actually efficiency overall or overall efficiency will be the multiplication or product of hydraulic efficiency. Overall efficiency will be the product of hydraulic efficiency, mechanical efficiency and volumetric efficiency. So hydraulic efficiency is represented as HR by H, mechanical efficiency is represented as P by WQA into HR, and volumetric efficiency is represented as QA by Q. So cancelling these terms, the final equation will be P divided by WQH. So this is the equation. This is similar to the efficiency overall. Okay. If efficiency G is the efficiency of the generator, so efficiency eta G is the efficiency of the generator, then power output of the hydro unit. So the output power of the entire hydro unit can be obtained from WQH into overall efficiency into the efficiency of the generator. So the multiplying overall efficiency and efficiency of the generator to the power given to the turbine, that is water power given to the turbine, it gives the total power output of the entire hydro unit. Okay. So overall efficiency in the efficiency of the generator is known as hydroelectric power plant efficiency, hydroelectric plant efficiency. So that's all for the efficiency terms. Next, we will discuss about the design aspects of Pelton wheel. So during examinations, you need to find problems. You need to solve problems on designing of a Pelton wheel. So in order to design a Pelton wheel, certain terms we need to check, that is like similar to the terms velocity of the jet, velocity of the wheel. So a lot of terms will be there, so those terms are discussing in this portion. So velocity of the jet, so velocity of the jet is the absolute velocity of the jet, that is v1, which is also known as absolute velocity of the jet, is equal to CV into root 2 GH. CV is the coefficient of velocity. Normally, the value will be given in your problem. If it is not given, you can take the value as 0.98 or 0.99. And H is the net head on the turbine. So net head available at the inlet of the turbine is the H. Next, velocity of the wheel. Velocity of the wheel means the velocity with which the turbine rotates. So velocity of the wheel will be u is equal to ku into root of 2gh. So the value of ku will be from 0.43 to 0.48. So here also, if the values are not given in your problem, you have to assume this value, and you can assume values between 0.43 to 0.48. So this is the value of ku is the speed ratio. So speed ratio is equal to speed of the turbine divided by root 2gh. Okay. Next, angle of deflection. So angle of deflection of the jet through the bucket is normally taken as 165. So you can take the value 165 while designing a Pelton turbine. In some problems, the angle of deflection will be given. Then you can take that term. If angle of deflection is not given, you can take the term 165 degree. Okay, as angle of deflection. Yes, so you are assuming a value for angle of deflection. So you can by heart this value. Okay. Next, mean diameter of the wheel. Mean diameter of the wheel is the diameter of the. So I will show you. Mean diameter of the wheel is this much is the mean diameter of the wheel D. Okay. So mean diameter of the wheel can be obtained from the equation U is equal to. We know that velocity of the runner can be obtained from pi dn by 60. D is the diameter of the runner, n is the rpm of the runner. Okay. From this equation, if the value of u is known, then you can get the value of d. So value of n will be given in a problem, so you can find value of d, that is the diameter of the wheel. So next term is jet ratio. It is defined as the ratio of pitch diameter d of the Pelton wheel to the diameter of the jet. So pitch diameter to the diameter of the jet gives the jet ratio, and the value of jet ratio will be between 11 and 16. So you can assume these values. So you can take if it in a problem, if you want to take the value of jet ratio, you can take a value between 11 and 16 for maximum hydraulic efficiency, considering maximum hydraulic efficiency. Normally the jet ratio is adopted as 12 in practice. So you can take the value as 12. So jet ratio is equal to m is equal to capital D divided by small d. Capital D is the diameter of the wheel and small d is the diameter of the jet. So in order to find the value of diameter of the jet or diameter of the wheel, you can take ratio as 12. So next, bucket dimensions. So the bucket dimensions are given here. So various dimensions of the bucket are width, height or length and thickness. All these terms I have already discussed in the last video. So the term B is equal to 3 to 4 D. D is the diameter of the jet, and length, or it is known as height of the bucket, it is taken as 2 to 3D. 2D or 3D. You can take the value between 2D to 3D, and thickness of the bucket has 0.8 to 1.2 D. So next we need to find the number of jets. So in order to find the number of jets, you need to know certain things. I will discuss that in this session. So normally the number of jets we need to, in the case of vertical turbines. So vertical turbines means uh, the axis of the turbine will be horizontal, and if it is a horizontal turbine, the axis will be vertical. So these two things you need to remember. The vertical turbine means the axis of the turbine is horizontal, and if it is horizontal turbine, then the axis of the turbine will be vertical. So for horizontal turbine and vertical turbine, the number of jet will be different. Okay. So normally a Pelton wheel has one nozzle or one jet. So normally a Pelton wheel consists of one nozzle or one jet. However, a number of nozzle may be employed when power is to be produced with more power is to be produced with the same wheel. So if you want to produce more power, we need to provide more than one number of jets. So theoretically, six nozzles can be used. So theoretically, six nozzles can be used in a Pelton wheel. So it is dependent. That means it depend upon whether it is horizontal turbine or whether it is vertical turbine. So, however, practical consideration limit the use of not more than two jets per runner for vertical turbine. So some practical limitations will be there since the arrangements of jets are very difficult if it is more than one. So for vertical turbines, the number of jets are limited to two jets, and for horizontal turbines, it is four jets per runner. So not more than four jets per runner if it is of horizontal configuration. Number of jets is obtained by dividing the total rate of flow through the turbine by the rate of flow of water through a single jet. So how will you find number of jets? Number of jets is equal to total rate of flow through the turbine. So total rate of flow through the turbine. If you find total rate of flow through the turbine divided by the rate of flow of water from a single jet. So dividing total rate of flow from the turbine. So the water that is coming out from the turbine divided by the amount of water supplied to the turbine gives number of jets. So next, number of buckets. So number of buckets will be obtained from the equation 15 plus d by 2d. So we know that d by small d is jet ratio m. So 15 plus zero point 0.5 m gives the number of buckets, not sorry, it is not jet, number of buckets. So number of buckets for a Pelton wheel should be such that the jet is always completely intercepted by the bucket, so that volumetric efficiency of the turbine is very close to unity. So the important case is that uh, if we supply water from a nozzle, the entire water should strike the buckets. So that is the basic principle here. Then only we can keep volumetric efficiency high. We know that volumetric efficiency is actual discharge by theoretical discharge. Actual discharge means what? Actual discharge is the actual amount of water striking the turbine and divided by the amount of water issuing from the nozzle. So entire amount of water issuing from the nozzle must strike the bucket. Then only we can keep volumetric efficiency as high as possible. So these are the various design aspects of a Pelton wheel. So all these terms are very important for solving the problems from the Pelton wheel. So that's all for this class, and we will meet on the next class. Okay.